Frazier and Maestro styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
What up, what up? Welcome back, folks. A brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can watch us live streaming on the YouTube channel, also on Facebook, Twitch, on the Twitter handle at Barbershop SPOR2, and also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Your boy Trae Frazier in the building. Got the homie Maestro Styles here.
Yes, sir.
What's good? What's good, man?
What's good? How you?
Hey man, I'm feeling great already, man. Just before we got on, just before we got on, man, just talking about today and how mentally drained I was. Pause. But hey man, we here, we live now. This is exactly what I needed to get myself going. So I'm feeling great already, man. So how you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to hear that our business energizes you after a long day of working for the man.
Yes, sir. And working for the man, that is.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, look, let's get straight to it. I mean, I know this is kind of the time, the beginning of March, where free agency get ready to start. I know free agency actually starts next week, but this is kind of the time. So let's get straight into some of these moves that were made. I guess starting today. I guess that's really when things kicked off. I guess starting with a lot of these players were announced last week, and I know we kind of talked about George Pickens and Kyle Pitts for Dallas and the Falcons respectively, but it's official today that George Pickens has been given the franchise tag for about $27 million. Kyle Pitts gets his tag for $15 million, and Breece Hall of the Jets has gotten his franchise tag for a little over $14 million. Thoughts? I mean, I guess
so
we did. Pickens.
We knew about Pickens. We knew that was going to be a thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because you know the Cowboys like to do this thing with their stars and their contracts in the offseason. Just expect this to be a circus from now until September, whenever the first day of the regular season starts.
I mean, what circus is there ready to have is when in reference to George Pickens. I mean, again, he's good. You know,
Micah Parsons was good. Dak Prescott's good. CeeDee Lamb was good. You know, it took these guys long to get their contracts. So go ahead.
Do you feel like? Oh, I'm about to go ahead and say. I say that to say, do you feel like George Pickens is going to stay a Cowboy after this year?
After 2026?
Yeah. Do you think they're really working towards a long-term deal, or do you think they're trying to?
I don't know now because I think we had this conversation when he got traded from Pittsburgh, and we said he's going to be a free agent. Like somebody's going to give him a bigger bag, you know, in the offseason. But now that this tag has come along, I'm not so sure now. Now, a tag means a lot of things, obviously. Kicking the can down the road to a bigger, lucrative contract, hopefully with some years into the contract, is really what the hope is if you're on George Pickens' team in terms of his agent and representation. Also, the other part to this tag is that you just play on the 1 year for $27 million. And after that, you could potentially be a free agent, or they sign you to a new deal. So it can mean a lot of things. But one thing I know for certain, when it comes to the Cowboys and paying their top players, is that this is going to be a conversation that is going to keep getting talked about for months to come.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is an open and shut case for this year. Mainly because I don't think George Pickens is going to be a Dallas Cowboy after this year. I think this is the Cowboys seeing the talent, This
Mm-hmm.
guy is, and this is them squeezing the proverbial lemon to no. This is like squeezing the. You know how you're trying to get more out of
Yeah.
George
Yeah.
Pickens. I mean, because $27 million a year is the franchise tag, but
Yep.
out in the market after the potential we know he has in the year he had with a quarterback, how much could he
Mm-hmm.
stand to pay? I mean, this guy could be a top five paid wide receiver. This could have been this year in free agency, and probably will be next year if he has the same kind of year, a similar year that he had this past season.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is the Cowboys saying, "Hey, let me get one more year of this. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
we're going to put together as far as team wise, and maybe we can compete for a Super Bowl or that type of thing. But
Right.
certainly, having George Pickens and C.D. Lamb, and they re-signed Javonte Williams at running back. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like their offense is going to be there. It's still going to be a good offense this year. The defense, we'll figure that out. And they even got better as the season got, with the trade with the Quentin Williams situation. But they
Yeah.
even got better. So now I think they're looking at it team wide. It's like, okay, we got a good offense. Obviously, we had a defense that got better. You make a couple moves and maybe you have an elite offense. And now, I mean, I'm sorry, a good defense. And now you're in here talking about how we can get to the Super Bowl. I mean, let's be clear. The NFC, there was no team that we looked at last year and was like, "Oh, this team is here."
Mm-hmm.
This is the team that ain't nobody rocking with. The NFC was pretty open last year. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't Dallas, look towards maybe having that type of a year where they could sneak in and compete for a Super Bowl?
So all you said right there, I think it's possible. Like it's highly possible. He just plays on the 1 year and then, he's off somewhere else getting a bigger bag. I think the thing for me, so obviously you think this is it. There's not going to be any holdouts on George Pickens' side. They're not going to discuss further a long-term deal. You just think, hey, we just want you for one more year and that's it. And that could be true. Like all those things could
And
certainly play out.
let me
And
cut
go
you
ahead.
off for a second. I don't mean if they could get him on a long-term deal, sure. But
Yeah.
I don't see the situation because it's only happened. It only happened in Cincinnati where you're going to sign to your number one and number two wide receivers to big type, big money,
And Philly.
like in Philly. Yeah, thank you. And but it doesn't happen often. They got
No,
other,
it doesn't. It
yeah,
doesn't. Those two situations are unique in their own way, and I could see the Cowboys leaning towards that way. I mean,
okay.
it would be improbable. I would agree there that it's likely less to happen than it is the other way around. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that whether he plays on this tag and ends up a free agent at the end of next season or whether they eventually get to a long-term deal, this is going to be something that I think is going to be talked, like the suspense that the Cowboys like to put out there when, the noise is quiet, nobody's talking about them. Jerry Jones even said it last year. Hey, look, I like to stir things up. He's going to stir this one up, whether they know in their heart that, hey, we just gonna let him go at the end of the year. We just gonna pay him this $27 million, or if they miraculously come to this long term plan. This is I just think this is going to be a conversation, a question for the entire offseason because also George Pickens' team, his agent, who by the way, his agent I think is the same agent as Micah Parsons' agent, and
Mm-hmm.
we know what the relationship between that agent and Jerry Jones is. It's very, kind of up and down. Like he didn't want to negotiate with the agent, he wanted to negotiate with the player. So, you kind of have that to kind of go off of. I just think this is just going to be something that's going to get talked about, for months now. And, you may be right. At the end of the day, Maestro, you may be right. Like this could end up being 1 year get your money elsewhere. We was able to, like you said, squeeze the lemon, to get every ounce of juice out the lemon out of George Pickens. It could very well play that way, but I don't think this is going to be a quiet offseason for the Cowboys in terms of what's the conversation surrounding George Pickens and a potential contract extension. What's the conversation about the agents' interactions with Jerry Jones? I think it's going to be it's a marketing thing. I think that's just going to continue.
Yeah, I hear you. Sure. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be that. I just don't. I mean, I think they can find a better story. I think this is pretty, open and shut, in my opinion. Like, either you're
Mhm.
going to get them the long term deal, or you're not. But like I said, I just can't see them doing that. But interesting thought I had while you was talking. Uh, Pickens is younger,
Mhm.
more upside, healthier. Is there a change? Is there a situation where CD Lamb, I believe is on the second year of his contract?
Just wrapped up the second year of the
Yeah,
contract.
yeah.
Mhm.
So going into his third year,
Yeah,
situation where CD Lamb doesn't stay and George Pickens gets the long term deal.
I can't see that.
CD Lamb has been hurt. CD Lamb is,
Understood.
you know.
Understood. I can't see that.
Okay, just throwing it out.
I can't see it.
Just
You
throwing
pick
it
you,
out
you keep
there.
you keep them both for long term, or you let Pickens walk. Because
So
at the end of
that,
the day, Pickens is going to cost more than what you're paying CD. At the end of the day,
That's true. That's true. But George Pickens is clearly right where it stands last year.
yeah.
Pickens is the better receiver.
Oh, for sure. And CD being out and hurt had a lot to do with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying where it stands
Um,
last year.
Yep. Nope. For sure. For sure. But you talk about injury history, and I'm just thinking about last year. But I'm trying to think prior to that. Has he been
Not
oft
really.
injured like that?
Not really.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about timing though. I,
No, I got you. No,
yeah.
I got you. The timing is interesting, but I still think this him being injured this past season, I still think is a one off. I think you give him
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt moving forward that he can stay healthy.
Unless you have a salary cap situation.
Okay. And
I'm
Jerry and
just
Jerry and Jerry is unpredictable like that.
now
So
if you want to talk about brewing up a story
hmm
in Dallas,
hmm
George Pickens versus CD Lamb is a way more Dallas esque type of story than the
hmm
idea if George Pickens is going to stay or not.
yeah, okay. The
Just,
idea
just,
of
just, just
trading
throwing it out
CD
there,
Lamb to keep George Pickens.
or or
Okay.
or or
Okay.
or, or keeping CD Lamb and saying we're not going to pay for both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
Okay.
that, kind of that proverbial, everybody loves a versus story. Everybody loves
Yeah.
those.
No, sure. Sure. I think anytime the Cowboys gets talked about, it's always a juicy story.
Mhm.
It feels like. But
Do you want to
I don't
go
know.
in order of importance, or you want to just read down a list?
Order of importance. Well, we're talking franchise tags, so and I see we got Daniel Jones as on the transition tag at 37.8
And that's why I'm saying
million
we should
dollars.
probably throw Daniel Jones in there.
Yeah, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Daniel Jones on this tag, coming off of the what was it, Achilles
Achilles,
injury?
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know,
Well,
man.
and just for those who don't know, essentially, because I almost put it in franchise tag, but I double checked it to make sure I was
Yeah, I knew it wasn't
yeah,
I knew it
so it
wasn't
wasn't franchise, yeah.
franchise. That I
So
knew.
essentially, the transition tag is Daniel Jones will be allowed to test the free agent market,
Mhm.
and essentially, if anybody offers him anything, they'll have the Colts will have the rights to match,
Yeah.
to match that price. But I mean, if we're being honest here, I can't see anybody offering Daniel Jones $37 million off of the one half a season he had in Indianapolis.
And you're coming off the injury on top of
Yeah,
that. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so no, I don't see that either. Um Look, there's a lot of jobs on the line in Indianapolis.
Hmm.
I think Shane Steichen's job is on the line. I think Chris Ballard's job is on the line. And they brought this guy in, and he came in, he ran the offense well. He played, he played some great football under this offense, and it just went downhill, midseason from that point on. So this transition tag to me, in addition to what it actually stands for, this is them saying, hey, look, we're gonna give this guy another shot because we've seen under this offense what he can be and what he can do for us. And besides, Anthony Richardson, it came out a few days ago that he's requesting to be traded.
And he's been
And
granted that request.
exactly. So, we know what direction the Colts want to go in at this point. They want to keep Daniel Jones, but the tag, I think, is at the same time, it's protection that you're not giving him a long-term deal just yet. You want to see
Mhm.
how he comes off the injury. You want to see how he looks in the offense. You want to make sure that half a season wasn't a fluke. You know what I'm saying?
And you
It
want to
gives you
see
that.
how he's being evaluated in the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's important. That's important for this type of a situation where he's playing almost lights out up until an injury happens, and then your team goes to shit at the end of the year. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how the field evaluates Daniel Jones if he's offered anything.
Hmm.
And I guess if not, then we'll pay him $37 million, which is a little bit higher than how we kind of saw it. I think we kind of saw it between 30 and 35 million if they were
Maybe.
going to give him a deal. I remember vaguely talking about it, but
Hmm.
you
Maybe.
know, But shout out to coach, shout out to Dave Jones. Like you said, Anthony Richardson is being given the opportunity to go look elsewhere, for employment. Like I guess like we knew he would, and hopefully he finds some employment. He won't be starting. I can't imagine him starting nowhere right now, but at least
Yeah.
let's get him in a
No.
situation where he can get on the field and
And that's another thing. Is he going to be ready week one? Achilles could take 52 weeks to, heal
Well,
up.
no, probably not. But get him somewhere and let him sit and let him
Hmm.
like Green Bay seems to be the team that's putting black quarterbacks back together and putting them out in the world. So I mean
Hmm.
a situation like that where he comes off the bench because Malik Willis is probably gone.
Yeah.
Some
Ain't
maybe
no
something like
probably.
that. Yeah,
Somebody gonna sign him.
something like that happens, and maybe that team, that coaching staff does it again, and gives revitalizes another black quarterback career.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just quickly on the Brees Hall front. This was one of the ones we didn't expect
Yep.
as we were talking potential franchise tags a couple weeks ago. But here it is, $14 million for the tag for Brees Hall. They didn't have to do it, but I thought it was smart of the Jets to do so. A lot of speculation about him being traded mid-season last year. The Chiefs was in the conversation even during their downfall of a season, but the Jets are doing the right thing here. They have the flexibility. They got all these draft picks. They got some money. They did the trade, getting Quentin Williams out of there. They got Sauce out of there. They got the draft capital. So there's a lot of flexibility for the Jets in addition to tagging Brees Hall. And, what's the end game to this? He plays on the tag. Um, he balls out, and I think he gets paid elsewhere. I don't see the Jets keeping him long term.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's because what again, like you said, what's the end game? I mean, and who says he balls out? You know what I'm saying? Like the way if I were in the Jets front office, I'm looking at how I could shop him off, just like I shopped off Sauce, just like I shopped off Quentin Williams.
Hmm.
I'm looking at how I shop him off, not because he's not a quality player, but because it would appear, and I'm just from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
uh, that he ain't playing inspired football. Like what I'm saying? He's
Hmm.
just
That's
he's
a
just
fact.
out there. He's just out there being Brees Hall. I mean, talent wise, he is who he is, but it don't look like he out here playing inspired
He don't
football
want to
or
play for
he's
them.
Yeah, like or like he want to be here, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
you giving them you give them $15 million in a year, really for what? When you can get value for them. Like
yeah,
the Jets are going nowhere the next season. Let's be very, 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 very clear. The Jets are going nowhere.
yeah.
So
No.
stack up and tank. Like what are we doing?
All the conversation about tanking going on
Yeah, yeah,
this past season.
yeah, like stack it up until the rules change and they don't favor tanking. I can't imagine any team that doesn't have a Super Bowl ready team or a Super Bowl competitive team why they wouldn't be trying to get there.
They have been tanking for going on 15 seasons straight.
I think they just been bad. You know what I'm saying? I think they just been bad.
No, they've been bad for sure. They've had some seasons where it's just been mediocre, and then there's a whole lot of other seasons where it's just been bad. The timing of firing coaches versus firing GMs and not, being able to get both guys in there at the same time. I mean, they finally did it last off season where they got the new general manager with Aaron Glenn. So that, I mean, if Woody is smart, he would let those two as a tandem play out at least 3 seasons. Like,
Yeah,
this is the second year, and after that you go into the third year, and then you just kind of figure it out from there. I think if they win 7 games this season, I think that's a win for them,
yeah,
given the assets that they got.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not bringing, like you said, they're not bringing in nothing. So
Yeah. Trey Hendrickson was not tagged by the Cincinnati Bengals. No
no,
surprise there. So he will be a free agent. Um, look, this is, we talk AFC North over here. I love nothing more than to criticize the Cincinnati Bengals for the stupidity in not being able to get assets for Trey Hendrickson last season, knowing that they were in the situation that they were in, even on the defensive side of the ball. Um, good for Trey Hendrickson because he can finally hit the market and be
yep,
able to get the money he feels like he deserves. But this is malpractice on the Cincinnati Bengals for not getting compensation for him,
yep,
coming off of the season he had the previous year with the
yeah.
double digit sacks.
100%, 100%. And again, it's not like we talking about this dude being a top dude, but we know how I guess how sacks are kind of ranked in this game. Having a pass rush is important. So I mean, you
Hmm.
get Trey Henderson, you getting a top tier pass rusher, and you definitely could have got something back for that. And another shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, we know they suck. We know just is what it is.
Yep.
Shout out
Hey,
shout out to them for doing what they do, sucking.
shout out to Joe Burrow for acknowledging. Hopefully, if you really bout it about getting up out of there, hey, this your chance, man. This your
Hey,
this your chance, bro.
hey, look, let me say it again. Y'all can have TJ, shit. Y'all can have DK.
Go
Y'all can
ahead,
have
live the
whoever,
dream, man. Live the
man. Y'all can
dream.
have whoever y'all need. Y'all can have whatever. You can have our top 3 players right now. If Joe Burrow is coming to Pittsburgh, I mean
Man,
that from the bottom of my soul. We'll figure it out,
man, it'll snow in the summer if those two teams ever
man.
traded with each other.
Man, listen. But I'm telling you, you can have it. I'm telling you, you can have it. Only
Mm.
only like only thing I wouldn't be interested in giving away is like young talent like Joey Porter, Nick Herbig. Even though it seems like Nick Herbig, if we're talking about Steelers rumors, and I won't get into a Steelers diatribe, there is rumors that they're gonna move Nick Herbig because Nick Herbig wants more playing time, and
Hmm.
it seems like we're not giving it to him. What I would say, Nick Herbig, if you hear me, we got a new defensive coordinator. The Tomlin way is kind of out. Not kind of. The Tomlin way is out. It would appear. Just hold tight. Patrick Graham might be a little different. Might run his defense a little different, where you can get some more snaps, bro. Don't leave Pittsburgh yet. Not yet.
In my opinion, from the outside looking in, it feels like some of those defensive stars on that side of the ball are going to end up getting shipped out sometime this
Yeah,
offseason.
there's
It
also
feels that way.
there's also been rumors of Patrick Ramsey getting shit. I saw it somewhere. I
Jalen
won't call
Ramsey.
it what I said.
Uh,
Jalen Ramsey, whoever I said, yeah, but
no. We got to go back to that because you
who I
said
say?
Patrick Ramsey, the
The old
former
Redskin
Redskins
quarterback.
quarterback.
I'm in DC, man. Yeah, but Jalen Ramsey. But I did see. I don't know if it was a credible source, but I did see it somewhere on Twitter saying that Mike McCarthy is really looking to keep Jalen Ramsey. I don't know how real or fake it is, but he has been in the rumors that he might not be a Steeler this year. Him, Nick Herbig, and it was another name I saw, but I'm hoping that we can hold on to Nick Herbig. I'm not super high on, but as much as I like Jalen Ramsey, I feel like $25 million, that ain't the proper ticket that we should be paying him. And no shade to Jalen Ramsey, get your money and all those positive things for a black man. But if I have to look at it from a perspective of the Pittsburgh Steelers maximizing their dollar to maybe have a productive team next year,
The value. Get that
yeah,
value for your players.
yeah, man. 25 is a lot for what he gave us on the field, in my personal opinion. Deshaun Elliott coming back, like I don't know if that's the price I would be on, but I digress.
All right. Kyler Murray. We saw this coming
A
weeks
mile
ago.
away, really months, really mid-season.
Really, yeah, you're right. You're right. Really, when they said he wasn't going to start again, that's
Yeah,
when we kind of knew this was going to happen. But they make it official earlier today. He is going to be cut by the Cardinals, and he will be a free agent, and he'll be able to shop himself to wherever he feels like he has a chance to win. So,
yeah.
um, options for Kyler Murray. Well, first off, I guess the first question would be, is he still a starter in this league, or is it to the point where he's a bench player as a
I think
quarterback?
Kyler Murray is a starter in this league.
Me too.
I think Kyler Murray is a starter in this league, and when I looked at potential suitors, Minnesota came up immediately. The disrespect that JJ McCarthy is, I won't say it's not warranted per se. I think they jumping the gun on JJ McCarthy a little bit.
Yeah, for sure they
But
are.
Kyler Murray came. Sorry, the Vikings came up, the Colts came up, and a really interesting team that came up with the Miami Dolphins. Now,
Now, I mentioned the Dolphins
yeah,
a month ago
yeah,
that was sort of a possibility.
yeah. That's an interesting name, even though Tyreek Hill was probably gone, and we don't know what's going on with Jalen
Well,
Waddle. But
Tyreek is gone.
oh, yeah, true. Yeah,
He is
that's right.
gone.
He got cut last week. That's right. He did get cut.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So Tyreek gone. I don't. And Jalen Waddle wants to be gone. So I don't know what happens after that. But certainly, even as constructed right now, the Dolphins is an interesting team. So,
Yeah.
um, anywhere else that I thought of,
You mentioned Minnesota. You mentioned Indy. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where there's where there's a legit need for a quarterback. Now, maybe the Jets, if they decide, let's just go with, somebody that's, somewhat in their prime. Maybe that's a move that the Jets could make. At least if you're the Jets, you talk to his people at the very minimum, right?
yeah, cause here we are, right? And not to go down a rabbit hole, but don't they got a pretty young quarterback in New York, in Justin Fields?
Um, I think that ship is sailed, unfortunately. And I hate that for Justin Fields. But
Well,
the
look,
fact that they started the backup for him in those last, several weeks kind of told me everything I needed to know. Like
yeah,
I think they want him up out of there, man.
yeah, I don't disagree, but it's just, and let's be clear, Kyler Murray, where it stands right now, is an upgrade from Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking though, like, you kind of got this guy. You kind of got this guy, and now it's an upgrade to the guy. But this is a similar kind of guy. Outside of the fact that Kyler Murray ain't afraid to let it go for deep, let it go
Yep.
deep. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I feel sorry for Justin Fields. Not sorry. Like I don't feel sorry for him. Like your product, which the product you put on the field, the product you put on the field. But
Yeah.
it's like, damn, bro. Like you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Nah, I get
just
it. Totally get it. 100%, man. But yeah, Miami, I'm going just because I mentioned it a month ago, I'm going to stick to that prediction. And then obviously they would, they could keep both him and Tua on the same
they
roster.
could. They
They they,
could
they, they certainly could do that.
be ahead of a competition.
Yeah, it
Be ahead
definitely
of a
would be.
competition. New
Yeah,
coach
for sure.
and two quarterbacks that had high ceilings and didn't necessarily meet them.
Yep. Yeah.
And they
I was
probably
thinking
sitting.
about it like they could, he's going to replace Tua, but now that I'm, discussing a little further, you know
But
what?
Tua's gone though. Let's be clear. Tua's gone too though. I
I
don't
I
see
just
no.
wonder how they're gonna get rid of the contract though. That's the tough part. How do they
They're
how do
three
they
years into
trade
the
it?
contract, and they're 3 years into the contract for Tua.
Mm, is it? You
I
might.
thought
Yeah,
it
I
was
think you
a I
might be
thought it was a
right.
5 year contract.
He got the extension after the third year, right?
Yeah. I think he
Okay.
can get it. I
Okay. No,
think
if that's the case, then you're right. That this he just wrapped up year number 3 of
right.
that deal. So yeah, no, that
Yeah,
makes sense. So
I think
there's
they can
there's
get.
money left there.
I think they can get him out of there.
There's money left there. Yeah, it's possible. It's
I
possible.
mean, shit, you did and shit. I wouldn't be a swap ain't far from it happening. It ain't far from happening. A
Because the
Cardinal
car,
Dolphins.
well, in this case, the Cardinals will be signing him to a better deal
Yeah,
because Miami would have to cut him.
cut him. Yeah,
So yeah, because the Cardinals need a quarterback,
right.
and that's what I was supposed to do. I was trying to figure out where they pick in the draft. I know they pick like top 7, around that top 7 area, but there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this draft, really. So
Yeah,
I'm just curious where the Cardinals go in terms of quarterback. That'll be interesting.
Don't give me the line because I don't know. I know the cat from Indiana.
Oh, he going to
And
Vegas.
yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So
Ty Simpson is somebody they've talked about too.
okay,
Ty Simpson, I've seen some mock drafts of him going to New York, Jets that is.
right.
But other than that, there's really no other quarterback in the draft slated to go that high, at least top
Hmm.
7.
Yeah. Mm.
Kenneth Walker, no tag for him either. So he will be a Super Bowl MVP free agent on the market. And I gotta
Like
think, man,
Larry Brown and the Cowboys.
yeah, like I gotta think this is a no-brainer for somebody that could use a running back. Like, I don't think he's on the market for long, bro. I gotta be honest
No,
with you.
no, he's definitely not on the market for long. Super Bowl, I mean, even Super Bowl MVP, and I'm not saying he's not a good running back. I'm just
Hmm.
saying Super Bowl MVP gets you some cash. He's
Yeah,
not going to be he's not going to be in the market for long.
yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to it, Kenneth Walker is probably like a middle tier running back if you rank him amongst the running backs in the league.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like Super Bowl MVP, you're gonna get a bag. Somebody's gonna sign you just off of the fact of we signed the Super Bowl MVP. So
Right.
yeah, he won't be in the market. Yeah, I agree. He won't be in the market long. Every who don't need running backs. Kansas City is the team that comes to mind immediately.
I
Um,
would say I would say the Broncos comes to mind also.
okay, okay, I ain't mad at that
Because
neither.
yeah, I'm thinking about that championship game and RJ Harvey, God bless him, but he couldn't do much in that title game when they needed him. So I would say Denver's a possibility too.
Okay, yeah, I ain't mad at that neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
David Montgomery, former running back with the Lions, gets traded a few days ago to the Houston Texans for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and a 7th-round pick. I like this move for the Texans. Um, and I don't know what the situation is with Joe Mixon. I know he's going to come back off of being injured and really missing the entire year, really for
Yeah,
that matter.
yeah.
I don't know if the Texans are, heartfelt at keeping him on the roster, but having both those guys there is certainly better than just having one of them there. So I would think in the best interest of Houston, both those guys will be in the backfield, but worst case, they got a pretty good running back in David Montgomery.
I,
Because they need that. They
I,
need a runner for
I
sure.
think David Montgomery. I think Joe Mixon is gone. Uh, just predictions. Joe Mixon's
Yep.
gone. Nick Chubb. You can keep Nick Chubb on the team for cheaper, and then they got a decent third running back. David Montgomery obviously going to be the starter.
Yep.
I think Joe Mixon has seen his last days in Houston.
Yeah. Marks, I think, was the guy that
Yeah, that.
was
Thank you,
toting the
Woody
rock for
Marks.
him.
Yeah,
Woody Marks, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. He
yeah,
was he
I,
was playing RB1 for most of the year. He played
yeah.
okay, but
He played pretty good. Now he played pretty good. Like
yeah.
I ain't
No, I
saying
agree.
like that
We kind of say
world
the
is
same
like
thing.
yeah. So yeah, I think this is a good move. I even think this is a decent move for Detroit, who does need offensive line help. Don't get it
Mm-hmm.
twisted. That offensive line wasn't all peaches and cream last year,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
and I saw it a
facts.
couple of times, namely against when they played Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
That offensive line ain't as good as it was 2 years ago. So I mean,
right.
they definitely could use the depth. So this is not a terrible move for either team. Good business, as we like to say.
Rest in peace to Sonic and Knuckles to that
Yeah,
camp in Detroit.
yeah, for
That
sure.
was that was really a 1-2 punch right there. But I understand it from the Detroit side where Jameer Gibbs, he's coming up in terms of getting the bag. So
And
you,
it's going
you
to
you
be
can't keep them
time.
both all the time.
And if you and for anybody who doesn't see him as a top five back in the league, it's time. It's about to be time.
Yo, yeah, no, for
It's
sure.
about to be time.
They
David
can they
Montgomery
can
took all those
replace
curse.
David Montgomery. They can
Yeah,
they can find somebody that's a similar style to David Montgomery to back up Jameer
yeah,
Gibbs.
yeah.
They can certainly find that. Now, if you're the Texans and you trade away an offensive lineman, I'm sure there might be some fans that are concerned about that because Houston's offensive line wasn't the greatest as well. And their hope is that they could just find somebody, whether it's draft, free agency, they could just replace Shrugs with someone, who could be slightly better for, lesser value.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, for sure, for sure.
Yep, yep.
We did not mention that Kyle Pitts got the franchise tag while we was talking franchise tags. Um, but Kyle Pitts got the franchise tag, y'all.
Yeah,
We knew
and
it.
and we discussed it. We
We
kind of
did. We just
yeah,
blew
yeah,
over it because I don't remember saying
we
his
did.
name once.
Oh, Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I don't remember
Well,
saying his name once.
well, the discussion went like this. You started off with because he's been there. This is be year 5 for him. He was highly touted coming out of Florida, and I was talking about how I never thought that they used him properly with the coachings that he's had there. And I said that the franchise tag to me was the Falcons, I think, saying, "Hey, look, man, we messed you up. We got an offensive coach in here now. We're gonna fix this. We drafted you. I forget what position, but he was high in the draft. He got picked
Four
pretty high,
overall.
fourth overall, and they're gonna stick by their investment in the number 4 pick from that year. So
I
that's
don't
what I kind of
know.
see this
I don't
saying.
know which one of us are getting old, and if we're gonna have to change this show from the Bob Shaw Sports Talk podcast to the old nigga Sports Talk podcast. But I feel like that conversation we had about Cal Pitts is the conversation we had last week about Cal Pitts, and I do not recall saying Cal Pitts' name at all in this episode. But
Well,
uh,
maybe not last week. It was certainly like weeks ago. It was
no, it was
definitely
definitely
weeks
last
ago.
week because I came in the show and asked how long does potential go.
Mm,
And I asked you that question because Cal Pitts was being rumored to be franchise tagged last week, and it was
Okay.
this conversation of like, he because he and by no stretch of the imagination was he a bad player in his first 4 years, but he
Hmm.
was certainly supposed to be better. He was definitely picked to be one of them, to compete in that Travis Kelsey, George Kittle, that caliber of tight end as far as where he ranked at in the NFL, and
Yeah.
it just never kind of panned out that way for whatever reason. And then that's when you went on to say that nobody used him right. Arthur Smith and those. I don't remember who the other coordinator was, but those guys just didn't use him right, and they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there is an old man syndrome here because I feel like we definitely didn't talk Kyle Pitts last episode. I felt like it was a few episodes prior to that. You're making me
Yeah,
feel like I'm losing it right
we
now.
yeah, no, one of us is definitely losing it, bro, and I don't know who it is. I'm open to it being me, but I did push us before the podcast, so I think my brain is moving a little fresh.
Okay. Hey.
So I don't know. I don't know who it is, but it's one of
All
us.
right. Hey. We'll see. Mike Patton in the
What
YouTube
up? What
live
up?
chat, man. What's going on? Didn't even see you there, but he was, as he's touring the AFC South. We were talking Houston. Titus Howard got traded to the Browns. I forgot about
Mm,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I did hear about it. I did hear about that earlier on. Read it somewhere earlier today. Shout out
Hmm.
to the Browns, even though y'all gonna be some shit too.
I ain't
So
giving the Browns no shout out.
yeah, shout. I mean, you gotta let them try to do something, but on a I guess them getting another offensive lineman on a shoddy offensive line last year in Houston is like another Cleveland Brown move.
Mm. Let him stay
Yeah,
bad for all I
yeah.
care.
Real quick, I don't want to do too much because I don't know too much, but I want to say real quick, rest in peace to Dominic Ponder, who passed away at 23. He was a Colorado quarterback. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to pontificate about the man or who he was, but for certainly way too young to lose his life. I'm not out here questioning God's plan, but definitely condolences to his family, friends, and everybody affected.
Yeah, rest in peace. 23 is super young for
Super young.
sure.
Yeah.
Super young. So, condolences to his family and everything.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Positive news, I guess. Transitioning to basketball.
Yep.
Diana Taurasi's jersey is getting retired in August. The number 3 will be hanging in the rafters for the Phoenix Mercury. I know you love a little WNBA, so I wanted to get in there and throw a little WNBA news in there for you. Um,
Oh
you know what
man.
I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Trying something different in 2026, man. Throwing a little news in there. I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna try this, and I know I say
Hmm.
this every year. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try like, WNBA game on. I ain't doing nothing better. Let me throw this on. You know what I'm saying? I'm super behind on TV shows that I want to watch, like Paradise. I need to start
Mm.
that show. But I am going to make it my business to watch some WNBA games.
Well, they got
This
a new TV deal. So NBC is going to be airing WNBA games
okay.
now, in addition to, and I know you're limited with the
All right, I'm about to shine.
platforms of
No,
channels that you got.
I'm about to jailbreak all this shit. So
Sure.
yeah,
But Ion's got the package, CBS has got a package, ESPN, ABC, they carry the playoffs and regular season stuff as well. But the new additions is NBC, Peacock, and USA. USA is
mm,
going to be airing some WNBA games as well. So they are doing great. The league is definitely in good hands despite some noise about the CBA and the potential of a lockout and the potential of not having a season this coming year. They will get that straightened out.
yeah,
I feel really confident about that. Hey, I will one up you on this one since we are talking jersey retirements and it's not in the notes. But as a Yankees fan, I do want to say congratulations to CC Sabathia,
Mm,
who got his number 52 retired by the Yankees and will be in Monument Park at the stadium. Much deserved. Brought the team a championship in '09.
yep.
Certainly one of the greatest pitchers of my lifetime. As a black athlete, not known to be in that spot in that position as a pitcher. It certainly means a lot. So congrats to CC Sabathia.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Yep, no doubt.
And first of all, Trae Young is supposed to be debuting with the Wizards on Thursday. Just quick shout out to him.
Yep.
I'm not looking for nothing. We've only won 16 games. Like, I'm not looking for nothing. Don't get hurt. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's
You just want to
all.
watch. That's all.
That
You just
that
want to watch. That's it.
that's it. That's it, and that's all.
Nope.
Um,
That's it.
I want to talk to you about the Knicks for a second, man.
All right, let's do it.
So I kind of rushed off to get off last week, get off the stream last week because I
Yeah.
wanted to take a look at the Cavaliers versus the Knicks, and I cuts the game on, and the Knicks are favorites to go to the championship. Some even say to win the championship if that's where you at with it in life. I looked at James Harden running the pick and roll against the Knicks
Yep.
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just go out. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this. I don't know if y'all beat the Cavaliers in the playoff series, right? Where it stands just based on what I saw Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Off for one
I,
game.
Sure, off of one
Okay.
game. I'm
Okay.
big off of one game.
Okay.
Like I said, I ain't been watching I ain't been watching basketball for about. I only been watching
Okay.
basketball for real for about 3 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm making it my business to watch and get a take and see what's going on and bring it to the podcast.
Yeah.
Watching that game, I think y'all are gonna have an issue dealing with the likes of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley doing running that pick and roll with James Harden. And we talked about that being a thing with James Harden coming to the Cavaliers, like
Always makes the bigs wherever he
yeah,
goes. He always
we
makes the
did
bigs
talk
get
about
off.
it,
Yeah.
but pause. And watching it, I'm like, damn, he's doing it again. Like, he's legit doing this same shit again, and
Yeah.
it's and it,
No
and it
surprise.
and it doesn't seem to be affecting Donovan Mitchell's offense, at least based on what I saw from last Tuesday's game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Now, I'm not going to jump out on them and make no prediction about the Cavaliers. I'm just watching on how the Knicks were able to deal with that pick and roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all going to be able to beat the Cavaliers in the series.
Which a couple of things. That was the first time the Knicks have played that iteration of the Cavs. Obviously, the
Sure.
trade took
Yeah.
place, weeks prior to that matchup. So
Yeah.
that was the Knicks' first look at how that looks. Secondly, if you've been watching some of the Cavs, since Harden has been there, and I know Mitchell has sat out some games, so that obviously changes the way
Right.
offenses ran. Mobley has sat a few games. That changes a lot as well. They've been killing a lot of teams with that pick and roll, for that matter. It's really one of the reasons why their odds of actually competing in the Eastern Conference went up. Like, James Harden, needs to be respected. He's a clear upgrade for that basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
I know we get on James Harden as far as him not showing up in the postseason when it matters, but at the end of the day, and you alluded to it earlier, he's still one of the greatest players in the game.
And let's
Even
be clear.
today.
We're not at that stage of his career where we're looking at him to be a difference maker in that type of way anymore, as far as,
Yeah.
the go-to guy to score the points.
No,
So,
for sure.
yeah, that ship has sailed years ago.
Yeah, for sure. Even when he was in LA, we knew Kawhi was the dude, and James Harden was just there to facilitate.
Hell, we didn't look at him that way in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about his stop in
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Forgot about that.
We didn't look at him as that guy in Brooklyn either. So it's just,
Yeah.
we're a long way
Philly.
from, really,
Philly.
really, yeah. We're a long way from James Harden being, that all-star who, gives you 28 and 10, and, he's not that guy anymore. So the fact that he's kind of transitioned his game to being what appears to be the truest form of a point guard that you can get in 2026.
Yeah.
Kudos to him for adjusting his game and being valuable in other ways. But certainly, the way he's running that pick and roll in Cleveland right now is the Knicks appear to have trouble with it, and they kind of closed the gap. But when I looked down, cooked up some beats, and looked back up, y'all was down 20. I said, "Oh, all right, cool. I can finish."
Yeah. One of them nights, man.
Yeah.
But you were looking for me to address the Knicks side of it, so I'll do that. Yeah. The Knicks this year have had similar issues with being able to guard bigs, like of a Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who Evan Mobley can play on the perimeter. Jared
Yeah.
Allen can play on the inside. And it's really all because of Towns. It's really just because of that. It's just the footwork isn't there with him. There's some defensive lapses there, and really even some offensive lapses with Karl Anthony Towns. And
Yep.
some of that is Jalen Brunson's fault, for not getting him, the ball enough. And some of that is his own doing. The silly fouls is still a thing with him. So yeah, if I had to be concerned about a team in the East, I would say Cleveland is one of those teams. I wouldn't say that they are the team that the Knicks need
Right.
to worry about. It's still Detroit. And Detroit's got some issues of their own.
I'm
I
about to say
think we
not
alluded to
Boston.
it. I'm not
That's
worried about
interesting.
Boston.
That's interesting that you mentioned Detroit over Boston and dealing with the Knicks. And I know y'all got them last year in the playoffs, and that does hold some sort of weight.
Hmm.
But we can look at you talked about it, Jaylen Brown being an MVP candidate. I get that maybe they're looking at some people are looking at maybe Cunningham maybe a little more than Jaylen Brown where it stands right now. But
Yeah.
I think I happened to watch Jaylen Brown play. The Celtics played the Bucks last night,
Yep.
and the Bucks are the Bucks, so we're not gonna sit here and act like this is one of the teams that's
Even with
on their
Giannis
way,
back.
right? And, but just came back. But Jaylen
Yeah.
Brown, Jaylen Brown was certainly making the case that you were stating when I watched him yesterday. Like
Hmm.
this dude is doing everything.
Yeah.
Like this dude is doing everything offensively. He's doing what he's want. He's running. He's playing offense at his own pace and
Yeah.
getting whatever shot he damn near wants. Even though they know he's only going right every single time, he's still getting what he wants.
Hmm.
Um, so I would, if I were ranking where you would be concerned if I'm a Knicks fan,
Yeah.
I'm ranking it Boston, Cleveland, then Detroit.
Boston, Cleveland, Detroit. So you have to respect a team that's got championship DNA. So I totally understand, where you're coming from there. It's interesting you bring them up because I was just thinking this as I was watching them against Philly a couple of nights ago on NBC, and they had some change in their roster, so they brought Vucevic over from Chicago,
Right.
and that center, Keita, had like a monster double. I think he had 27 points and 17 rebounds.
Yeah.
And I was asking myself this question, like we we know Tatum is recovering from the injury from the playoffs last year, but what doesn't get talked about enough up to this point is the departures of Drew Holiday, Al Horford, um, what's the Kristaps Porzingis. Even
Mm-hmm.
though Kristaps, there seemed to be lesser of an impact with him because of the injuries, but I'm talking about those guys that were part of that championship team that meant something. Drew Holiday certainly meant something to that team. Al Horford meant something to that team. I was thinking to myself, have they replaced those guys currently?
I don't know who number 55 is for Boston.
White boy?
The white boy.
Um,
He was
start with
having
an
a
S. I know who you're talking
he
about.
was having a game yesterday, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he normally does. This is my first time watching him.
Mm-hmm.
But Slim was having a hell of a game the last night, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, because I've heard conversations about Joe Mazzulla being Coach of the Year,
Mm.
and I mean, again, I'm only 3 weeks into watching the NBA, but
He's getting a lot out of some guys you wouldn't expect. I'll tell you
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I will tell you that much. But I did answer my own question as I thought that the other day. Vucevic is clearly an upgrade over Al Horford
yeah,
and Kristaps Porzingis.
yeah,
He's clearly an upgrade over that.
yeah,
Drew Holiday, I think what they're doing is I think they're putting Derek White at point, several times.
yeah,
Sometimes Jalen Brown, kind of carries that role as well. So they haven't fully replaced Drew Holiday, in my opinion. I think they're just like it's just players by committee kind of filling that role. But I think overall, just in general overall, those departures have been replaced.
yeah,
I'll say that
yeah,
they have certainly been replaced. The only thing that's missing from this team is Jason Tatum, and God forbid if that brother decide, you know what, I'm gonna come back at the beginning of April and get in where I fit in, it's going to be a problem for
for
the
the
Eastern
entire
Conference,
East,
for
right?
the entire East. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So
No, we
um,
agree. We agree, but
it's going to be a problem.
I would if I'm Knicks fans, I'm concerned about all three of those teams, but again not so much Detroit. Again, Detroit is a tough team, and
Hmm.
they're going to play you tough. But once it comes back down to what we talked about last week, Cade can't do it by himself. They're going to need a secondary scorer for this to even really be a conversation. For me to
Yep.
take Detroit seriously, like I know we're a month away from really talking about playoff predictions, and I'm already prepared to say like I don't care where Detroit is seeded. Maybe they get out the first round, but after that, it's a wrap.
Oh, they're definitely getting out the first round now. I mean, you always have to consider the Eric Spoelstra factor
Yeah,
if the Heat end up
I don't even
being
know who's eight seed
that
right now.
team.
That I'm just
Oh, it's
giving
the
them
Heat.
that respect. Yeah,
It's the Heat,
yeah, I'm just
and
giving them that respect.
you always have to give them that Spoelstra factor. There's always going to be that with the Heat, but right now, the Detroit's beating the Heat in the playoffs. I'm not
Sure,
even second guessing that.
my point is that we ain't talking about. I'm not taking the Pistons serious as far as getting out of the Eastern Conference or
Hmm.
even getting to that Eastern Conference championship. I'm not taking them serious in that ilk at all because Cade Cunningham can't do it by himself, and if you can scheme him out, then Detroit is not going to win.
Hmm.
And again, without I'm only 3 weeks in.
Hmm.
You telling me Eric Spoelstra can't scheme out Cade Cunningham? I'm just
That, but
asking.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can never, as long as that man is coaching the Heat, you always have to consider him a factor.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, the Heat are gonna upset the Pistons. I'm not gonna come on this podcast 3 weeks into watching, paying attention to the NBA and say that's what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no,
But I know who Eric Spoelstra is, and I
yep.
have an idea of who the Pistons are right now.
Hmm.
I, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
they play a
I'm just
tough
saying.
brand of basketball. Look, they've whooped our ass in the regular season so far. I don't worry about that because playoffs is a different animal. So I'm not,
But Eric
I'm
Spoelstra
not.
know how to play in the playoff.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say you got to consider the factor with Spoelstra when it comes to the Heat. So, but if you're telling me put a parlay up, I'm taking the Pistons money line to beat the Heat in the
Sure,
playoffs right now. Right,
sure.
like as I talk right now, I would say that. So, um, yeah, I think you got to be concerned if you're a Knicks fan. I think you got to be concerned about those three teams. I think if any of those three fan bases were asked the same question, I think they would all kind of say the same thing, that they would worry about the other, three teams as well, because we've played Cleveland pretty well this regular season. We got the tiebreaker over them. We've played Boston pretty well this year. So, but again, it's all going to be about the playoffs, and I think the coaching, I think, is really going to matter this year. I really think
Man,
coaching is really going to matter.
it's like you were reading my mind because I was just about to ask you for the sake of documentation.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mike Brown so far this year? And I'm asking you that
Yep.
because of the sudden firing of Tom Thibodeau. Like, where do you
Um.
think the Knicks stand this year in uh, comparison to last year?
Okay. So record wise, I don't know where they were at this point last year. They probably were around the same record as they were last year today. But the team is different. They're different in a couple of ways. Number one, they don't play as tough as they once did with Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau, would instill that toughness in those guys. Number two, they're different in the sense that the role players that come off the bench really do, give them the production that they need to allow these guys to not be able to play, 40 something minutes a night. So,
Yep.
yeah, you give up something to get something. And that's exactly what's happening with the Knicks team this year right now. He's taking his bullets in the media from fans. Mike Brown, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's certainly taken his shots for not being, instilled enough with certain players, and very, he's been accused of being very friendly with the players, which I don't know if I believe half of that, because I've seen him coach practices, particularly that one video where he was still coaching the Kings a couple years ago, and he just spazzed out on somebody or the whole team. So I don't know where people are getting that from, but maybe he's being different here than he was with the Kings. I don't know, but the coaching's gonna really, really, really be a difference maker, I think, this postseason.
Do
'Cause
you feel like
Is proven. Joe Mazzulla's proven. JB Bickerstaff has proven that he can elevate a team from, seeing what he's done with the Pistons last season. And Kenny Atkinson is no slouch.
yeah, but do you feel like this team is better than last year's team, the Knicks?
I think they're better because of their rotation. But if they don't have a toughness to them, that's where I think they could get killed at. Like, if they don't have that element to it, because I think that's part of what's missing, and that's really not hard to get. Like, it's
You
something that I
gotta
think,
have it though. You gotta
you
have
know,
it though.
yeah. But they
And
had it. That's the thing. They had it.
so here's the real question: did they have it, or was it being instilled in them? You know what I'm saying? Because look, because we've been calling cats soft since forever.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I wouldn't. Nobody would go. Nobody. The only person that we would say legitimately is not soft is Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson. Maybe I guess Alvarado.
Yeah, those are the three. If when you talk about toughness, those are probably the three guys, and it may be Hart, maybe, just maybe. But other than that, yeah, OG doesn't give you like the tough guy, persona. Bridges don't give you that. Bridges,
And he
I'm
plays good
surprised
defense. Yeah.
yeah, he plays some good defense, and he's taken it to the rack a lot more than he has in the past, because he's been criticized for that. But he's not a guy that's, you be like, oh, I'm, got to watch out for Bridges, in the paint, whatever. Like, nah, like
I just
none of
I'm
those
just
guys.
I'm just concerned that and concerned is the wrong word.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about the Knicks, and obviously you guys have finals aspirations, and I feel like you kind of sold the proverbial house on Cat, and much like the Shaq criticisms from a couple of weeks
Yep.
ago, like he is just shit in the bed. And if you guys win a championship, it's going to be on his back, and
Yeah.
honestly, not Jalen Brunson's. It's going to be on Carl
Yeah.
Anthony Towns' back,
I said
and
that last week. Yeah.
yeah, and he just you did you did, and it's just like, bruh, like he just don't seem like he get it, or it just don't seem like he got it. He not
So
understanding, or he just don't got it to understand.
somebody asked him, you know, what do you think about the offense? And Cat said, "Hey, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm still, and it's like, dude, it's March. We're at the begin. It's March Madness. We're 3/4 of the way to the final game of the season. Like at this point, we shouldn't even be talking about if still trying to fit in the offense or not. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm thinking about Mike Brown offenses in the past,
Mm-hmm.
because someone said that he hasn't had a big man like that. If you think about all his teams, but he had Sabonis when he was in Sacramento. Now Sabonis and Cat are not the same
At all.
player. They the same position. They play the same position, but they're not the same player. Cleveland, he didn't have, a big man that could really dominate like that. Um, Lakers, that was just a brief stint. Didn't really have a big man those couple of years. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Mike Brown to have this caliber of a center that could play outside, shoot threes, play in the paint sometimes. Maybe Mike Brown is trying to figure Cat out.
Yeah,
Maybe
I ain't
it's
jacking
both.
that.
You know,
I ain't jacking
maybe
that.
maybe they're both trying to figure each other out. But it shouldn't be like this now. Like this should be figured out already.
Yeah, I ain't jacking that, bro. Carl Anthony Towns been sold his entire career, and I don't mean like this has been his criticism his entire career. I'm not gonna put that on Mike Brown in no way, shape, form. Cat has been the same player he has been his entire career, where he can he want to shoot threes. If you force him to the rack, he'll go there, but he don't want to be in the paint. If you gave him a 3-pointer every single time, he gonna shoot that 3-pointer as opposed to trying to impose his will in the paint. That's the player he's been since he's been in the league. So I'm not putting that on Mike Brown in no way, shape, form, or fashion. The problem is that my Carl Anthony Towns is going to have to adjust his game and get in that paint.
It's
That's
on the
the problem.
players. It's
That's
on
the
the
problem.
players.
I'm talking because sometimes it is coaching. I'm just talking about this situation
Hmm.
with Carl Anthony Towns and the Knicks, and because this has been his Achilles heel his entire career,
Yeah.
that he's not capable of dominating in the paint, and he's too big to not be able to dominate in the paint. Ain't nobody mad at you being able to shoot a three if that's what they giving you
Right.
because you being so dominant in the paint. But you not even like the consensus is that he won't even try to impose his will in the paint. I remember one game last year in the playoffs. It was a series, and I remember us being so shocked. Like, man, he's really in the paint,
Hmm.
getting busy. And it was like it might have been the Boston series. And it was like it was
Yeah.
one particular game. It was like, damn, he really getting busy. Like, if he play like this,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't gonna be no. This should be a cakewalk
Yeah.
because
Create. I
because
mean, silly
it's
footwork and
space.
all. He was
Yeah,
doing that. You know what I
right.
mean?
It's but that's his kid. That's his problem. He is too big to be not trying to impose his will first, and then I may be stepping out. I mean, the same conversation we have about Embiid in his career. Like you don't want to impose your will in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like you can
Yeah.
shoot threes. That's what's up. That's a great skill to have when it's necessary.
Hmm.
But you are a center, my dude, and we need you for floor spacing alone to get into the paint and attempt to impose your will.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And they just don't. They just don't.
Someone asked the question, what would it take for Mike Brown to lose his job year one? Like, what would have to happen for him to lose his job. And the only thing that comes to mind for me is them bowing out in round one.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that would
that's
really
it.
make sense to me.
That's
And
it.
and to be honest with you, Leon Rose got to take some heat too
Yeah.
if that happens too.
Well, I will say this because this seems to be a constant, and I'm going to keep acknowledging it as a constant for as long as I notice it because I think anybody looking back at this agrees that Tom Thibodeau was let go a little too early. I think,
Yeah, I'm
he,
not mad at that like
I get,
opinion.
yeah, but I mean, just as I look at the Knicks
Hmm.
this year, and I think I've seen 2 games from front to back,
Yeah.
maybe 3 games from like literally from front to back,
Hmm.
and it's just like it just don't feel like this team is tough at all. Like the way they go about the game is not tough. Like it's
Yeah.
it's it's just like Jalen Brunson come save us when we're not offensively good enough to get where we
Yeah.
need to go.
Because
You know
it's
what I'm
not just
saying?
Cat. Like I know we
Yeah,
pounce on Cat, but it's not just Cat. Bridges has been
yeah.
inconsistent also. Um, the game against the Spurs on Sunday. I tweeted this as I was watching it, toward the end. That had to be one of their best games of the season, to, come home, you know, face the Spurs, who was coming off of 11-game win streak. I know they was on a road trip, but they played the Nets right across the river, maybe 3 nights prior to that. So you can't blame the Spurs for travel. They was right in the city there, and be able to put that kind of defensive performance on the Spurs. Bridges had 5 steals in the game, 25 points. He looked as good as I ever seen him look. But the rest of the team defensively, really, clamped down. And that was one of their to me, that was one of the best games they played, all season long. In my mind, I'm saying, yo, if that Bridges shows up consistently, oh, we gonna be all right. But
Mhm.
we know, we deep down know that there are going to be nights where you're just like, what the f? Like, it's,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be, it's going to be this the rest of the season. Knicks fans, including myself, just gonna have to accept that. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to one of our followers on YouTube. We put up these reels, every week. At Tenselson3, he's a Celtics fan just based on his avatar. So he disagreed with our opinion from last week that the Pistons, particularly Kate Cunningham, has no help versus Jalen Brown, who does have help. So he thinks that Kate Cunningham has more help than Jalen Brown does. and,
Nigga,
and, of course, and of
I don't know.
course, and of course, he's a Celtics fan, so he's gonna say that. Respect, but not
Nigga,
nah, bro.
please.
Nah, bro. I don't know what you looking at, bro. I don't know
Nah,
what the
I
hell
know
you
what you.
looking
I
at.
know. I know exactly what you're looking at. You're used to Jason Tatum being on that team, and look, Jalen Brown in his own right should probably be a number 1 option on another team.
Hmm.
And for some reason, they worked that out. I remember the conversation, the rumors of Jalen Brown coming to the Wizards 3 years, $204 million about 2 years ago. And you know what I'm saying? I I say that to say Boston got plenty of help, bro.
They,
Boston
they
got
they got a
plenty of help.
championship. They got
They got
players on
plenty of
there
help.
that know what it take. Like what are we
They got
talking
plenty of
about?
help. I mean, if you want to say they don't have a secondary scorer, and that's where you're getting it, where you're getting that conversation from. Okay, all right. Let's compare number twos. Number 2 scorers right now. Who's
Yeah.
Detroit's number 2 scorer? Because I don't know his name.
Um, I don't know, but
Right.
I don't know, but I'm
I
I'm gonna
don't
throw
know.
some I'm gonna throw some names out there because we don't talk about these guys enough. Tobias Harris, and we've been critical about Tobias Harris for years.
But not as a Detroit Piston, we have it.
Sure, but in the past we've been critical. And he's played good this year. I give
and
Tobias credit. He's played
and
good this year.
and rightfully so in Philly. So let's not play that game. We've
No,
been
sure,
rightly
sure,
critical of him.
sure. Jalen Duren, and he was an
Okay.
all-star this year,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he's having a good season. He's having a good season, but can I count on you as a secondary scorer with the way they win that offense? I don't know, bro.
So let's say it's Jalen Duren, right? Because
Yep,
I've seen his name pop up. Let's
yep.
say it's Jalen Duren.
Hmm.
Who do you believe more, Jalen Duren, or who would you consider the Boston's secondary scorer? Because
Derek
I get
White,
it. Derek,
Derek White.
I was thinking Derek White too.
Yeah.
Because I get what he's trying to say. I
Hmm.
do, but when shit hits the fan, we've seen Derek White have 30-point games in the
That's what
playoffs.
I'm with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
yeah,
I'm not here like while Jalen Duren may be a better ball player, quote unquote, right now, like as far as physicality and the actual
yeah.
athlete shit it take to do it,
Hmm.
sure. But right now, Derek White know how to running that offense. He know how to take what he's given,
Hmm.
and he know how to get points when it matters, and we have a record of that.
I've seen Peyton Pritchard come off the bench and pop
Exactly.
for 30.
Exactly. Exactly.
I haven't
Um,
seen, and look, all these guys they on the Pistons,
great players,
The
good
Thompson
players.
twin, he's
Yeah.
played great. Like all
Yeah.
these guys, Beef Stew, all these guys have played great.
I'm not calling no
But
nigga beef stew, bro.
huh,
I'm not calling no nigga beef stew, bro.
man, get over yourself, bro.
I'm just telling you what I'm not
Cut
doing.
it out, man. Cut it out, man. All these guys played well this year, but I haven't seen any of them guys really pop
I'm
for
sure
30,
they've had.
40 plus like that.
I'm sure that Duran has had a 28-point game somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had a
like
double double, like a
yeah,
20 and 15 double double. Like
yeah. I'm
I'm
sure,
sure he's had that, but it
but
don't look
nah,
the
gang,
same, man.
nah.
It don't hit the same.
Because also coaching and familiarity with the system has something to do with it.
Yeah.
There is no way, shape, form, or fashion that the Detroit Pistons have and Cade Cunningham has more help than Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see where you see it, but God bless and keep on watching the show.
Yeah, continue to support.
Yeah, for sure.
That's important. We appreciate everybody.
Uh,
Appreciate everybody
yeah,
that tunes into the reels. We love the we've been getting a lot of comments and stuff. I don't subscribe to mention every single one, but the ones that really kind of stand out, certainly want to give them a shout out and all that good stuff.
yeah.
I got one last thing. So the Atlanta Hawks in
Uh,
Magic City night, which I think is coming up. I don't
mhm,
know what day it's coming up, but it's supposed to be against the Orlando Magic.
yeah,
Home game in Atlanta at the arena. Um, so Luke Cornett with the Spurs came out, said something about it, said he didn't like it, said the team should be ashamed of themselves for promoting strip clubs and it ain't good. We got to treat our women right. We got to, and I'm paraphrasing because I
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
actual like clipping of what he said, but I'm kind of paraphrasing, talking about the kids and blah, blah, blah. Um, Luke Cornett, you are not of this culture, sir. You are not of the Atlanta culture. Specifically, Magic City has been an institute for years in that city. And if the Atlanta Hawks decide that they want to pay homage to an institution that rappers shut out, ball players shut out, specifically Lou Williams, because he loved them lemon pepper wings. Anybody you name that comes through that city, athlete, pro, rapper, entertainer, they always reference Magic City. And it's a strip club. Ain't nobody, it's
The
not
kids,
illegal.
the
It's not
kids can't go,
illegal.
and the kids ain't allowed in.
Right. It's not illegal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a strip club that means a lot to the city. and the team just wants to acknowledge how much they appreciate what Magic City has done for the town.
Now I am curious.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like so? Is it like it's like Magic City night? Whatever day it is.
Yeah.
So how are they celebrating in the stadium, or are they celebrating?
That is a good question. I don't know what they're doing to commemorate. I don't know if it's jerseys. I don't know if it's dancers. I have no idea what they're going to do to help commemorate that.
Now,
but
if Slim was saying saying that, hey man, it's gonna be strippers halftime shaking ass at the halftime show. You know what I'm saying? With dollar bills, and now I'm an adult. I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. In no stretch of the imagination. But I could see where that criticism was coming from. Kids being in there watching ass shaking, whatever. However you feel about it. Like I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't take my kids, and my kids are 15 and 13 years old. I wouldn't take my kids to a halftime show where ass was shaking. I would partake on my own.
But yeah, of course not.
You know what I'm saying? So if that was where he was kind of going with the criticism, then okay, I could kind of see your point. But just acknowledging Magic City, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just pulled up the thing on Twitter, but I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. But everything on here is pretty much what I stated, to open up the topic. He Luke Cornett, man, you a wild boy, man. Like, look, man, just and you're not even on the team, bro. Like, you are not on either one of these two teams that's gonna be playing in this game.
God bless you, Luke Cornett.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the energy I'm on in 2026. You know what I'm saying? God bless you, brother, and your opinion.
Mind your business, man. Mind your business, man. Keep out of black folks' business, man.
Hey, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to get going here. Appreciate everybody in the YouTube chats. Mike Patton, I see you. Shout out to you,
my
boy. Shout out to everybody in the IG live chat. Appreciate y'all. Continue to follow us. Continue to support the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, we're on Twitch. Click the like button on the Facebook page. Also, follow us on the Twitter handle at Barbershop SPOR2. Also, on Instagram, follow us at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. If you got questions, comments, hit us up on the email. Email is barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And that's it. That's it for the show. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh, yeah, we got him. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.